talk about how fat Americans are. How I
We can
saw.
do that. We
that
are
can-
recording. People, take your seats.
That can somewhat play a part in overpopulation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Drexel Freethought Society podcast. The Drexel Freethought Society is the only secular organization at Drexel University because we're awesome, and religion is cool, I guess. Anyway.
Facetious.
Yeah, if you want to be religious, go crazy. Well, don't go crazy. Enjoy yourself. No going crazy with religion. I'm going to stop talking about that now. My name is David McDevitt. I'm the president of the Drexel Freethought Society. Dante?
I'm Dante. I'm vice president of Drexel Freethought Society, and I'm wearing glasses.
He is. I can see them.
I am Richard, and I'm just a random person that stumbled upon the Drexel Freethought Society.
Which is a good thing.
We like people like that.
We need more of those.
Yes, we do. So find them. Come to us, internet people. Okay, every week we try to pick some kind of discussion topic that plays into a secular organization mindset, or if it's some kind of free thought topic, or science, or religious, ethical, anything really. We just like to talk and we like to have a good discussion. Today's topic is going to be overpopulation. We live in a small world, and it's getting filled with people. Is this a problem? Can we find a solution? Let's start.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I chose this topic because there's still questions that need to be answered. I mean, there's a lot of questions I asked about this. I mean, I'm actually not even sure if we're truly overpopulated or not, because there's so much land that humans don't inhabit, but at the same time, should we inhabit that land? At that, are we overpopulated or not, and what factors contribute to it? And should we become overpopulated, assuming that we're not, how do we control that without crossing or worry about any ethical barriers? I mean, you can't. I mean, as far as I know, you can't just go around and just start wiping people out, a la eugenics or.
These are negative things.
Exactly. I mean, we can look at overpopulation from a biological concept, as far as like other animals are concerned, because looking at how overpopulation affects animals and plants can be a good way of looking at overpopulation with humans. And at the same time, you can also look at it in the context of the environment that you live in now. Like, I can certainly say that Philadelphia is getting very crowded, which was one of the reasons why I was late today, actually. As a matter of fact, let me just talk a little bit about Philly. I haven't checked the statistics for the population of Philadelphia. I do believe it exceeds over 1 million. I think it's approaching 2. I'm not exactly sure. I have to look that up again. But you start noticing all these little parameters that we set for ourselves, like the famous or infamous parking authority. You know, you have like almost everybody has a car. And you still have a lot of people taking public transportation, but as this population keeps growing and growing in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia has some things that attracts people. Like, for example, it's cheaper than New York. It's centralized around New York, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Washington, D.C. So it's just it's a convenient place to live. And we have a very intricate, not like New York, but still intricate enough public transportation, as well as many highways that goes in and out. So naturally, not to mention all the Drexel students and
Even colleges here.
Yeah, colleges. Yeah. So now you have to factor in the colleges. So now I'm going to go back to that parking authority thing. You have all these people buying these cars and renting all these cars and stuff. As the population gets bigger and bigger, what about these parking spots? You know, it seems like most of these parking spots have tow zones or bus zones, police zones, no stop zones. So eventually it's going to get so bad. Where are we going to be able to drive? Where are we going to be able to park? And worst of all, where are we going to be able to live? These are things that we all should consider in the context of a human society.
Well, on that kind of topic, it seems, Jazz, you're going to have to pay attention. It seems that we're going to have to focus on a few things. If we're talking about a place like Philadelphia, it's a large metropolitan area. We have a lot of access to different areas. We have a lot of industries actually a few industries that are focused here.
Yeah.
So we are going to have people here.
Yeah.
That's a given. But the problem we have to solve is how are we going to facilitate these people without them hating everyone, basically. Because technically we could just put everybody in a giant pit and then throw food at them, but that's not a good solution.
That's actually something that me and my friend have been talking about with how cities it seems like in the world that there are three different types of places to live. You live in either the city, you live in the suburbs, or you live in the countryside. And of course, when you're living in the countryside, you're more dispersed and you're living on a more dispersed landmass, and of course, the reason why is because one person will buy a plot of land that is much larger than one that is owned in either the suburbs or the city. And this plot of land is paid for to make food for other people, which also integrates with the whole overpopulation thing. Because if we have so many farmland, we won't be able to get so many people in that farm area, and then we'll have to put more people in the city. And guess what? We need more farmland to feed those people in the city, but if we don't have enough farm, then we're not going to be able to feed those people in the city.
Yeah, we need to solve one of the world's problems at a time.
That's the thing.
First,
There's a lot of problems just intertwined right now. And just looking at a city, you already see a problem. Now blow that up Earth size.
no,
We
I mean,
have a really huge problem.
geez, we're going way too far scale already. What about just basic facilitation of people living in a city? They need to live places.
Okay.
It seems like a problem with that is everybody wants to have a yard, everybody wants to have a car, everyone needs a place to put the car, and it seems like these are just stupid problems. I understand the need for grass and yard and everything, but if we were in a society, like, okay, I'm just gonna put it out there, almost all my solutions will be societal changes. I don't actually think there would be an enormous amount of infrastructure that has to be changed. Because if we lived in a population in Philadelphia where people just didn't buy cars, then we'd be fine.
That's true.
Because then we'd have a whole lot more space on the streets. We would do away with a lot of the parking garages. We could make more public squares instead of storage facilities, and then we could pump more money into the public transportation. So it would be more. It would probably get to a point where it's free.
Which there was a point in time, I believe, and feel free to correct me on this, I think it was around the 1920s or 30s, where public transportation was really popular. In fact, almost everybody used public transportation. And then you had three types of companies that kind of said, no, we want to make money off of something, and we're going to do away with public transportation, or at least out-compete it. And that was the tire companies, the automotive companies, and the oil companies. You know, Firestone, GM, classic story. And you know, they all got together and they started building all these cars, and just bringing them out like pimples on prom night. Next thing you know, they made them cheap. They made them cheap.
I've never heard that phrase before.
It's popping up like pimples on prom night. All these cars and stuff. So now everybody's like, "Wow, I don't have to wait at the bus stop anymore and get on the bus with all these filthy people and blah blah blah." So everybody started buying cars. Next thing you know, when you have cars, now you need those garages you were talking about. Now you need those roads, those bridges, those highways. Then you have they started opening up markets and markets. You know, people started working on automotives and tires. Then you had the gas companies, of course. And, you know, next thing you know, the cars started outnumbering the buses, the trolleys. That might be one of the reasons why the trolley has decreased in popularity. It's because of cars. You know, Philadelphia used to be nothing but streetcars. You go on Wayne Avenue, Germantown Avenue.
You still see the tracks.
Yeah, you still see the tracks. There was trolleys and streetcars and trams everywhere. Now I think we only have six routes of trolley in Philadelphia, and most cities actually don't even have trolleys that used to have them because of the automobile industry. Now some people say that that's an urban legend and that there was actually something else going on, but this is what I know so far. So now you have this going on, and then of course all these things that revolves around the car is taking up all of our space, and then that's where you get the parking authority from. You have all these boards. Throw that in with the public transportation, with the large buses and the trains, and boom, you have a lot of money and space going to infrastructure as opposed to living quarters. And living quarters is actually
unnecessary.
Huh?
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, in some ways, I agree with you. And like you were saying, sure, we have a place to live, but now, what about water? What about jobs?
But Philadelphia's not built for this much people. For
No.
this much people. This amount of people.
No, it's not.
It's like
You look at
probably
I-76.
probably one of the most disgusting things I ever learned was if the city floods whatsoever, like a mild amount of rain, then everyone's septic systems drain directly into the river.
Oh God.
Yeah,
No, because we don't have any place to put all that water.
It's called Schuylkill Punch for a reason.
Jesus.
Otherwise, you see, they have to do that. It's not like they took oh, this will be cheaper. It's if they don't do that, then the city would flood from the inside.
Yeah, well, to put this on a slightly larger scale, but pretty small still, you're talking about Philadelphia and how it's having all these problems. Well, look at an entire country called Japan. It's a very
Yeah,
small country.
Yeah.
It's filled with thousands of islands, but if you look
dense.
at the main island, it's very, very dense.
Uh,
And Tokyo, which is, of course, the central city of Japan, the mainland, Hakushu, that area has to reform itself in order for people to get by. And I believe there's been laws passed in Japan that makes it illegal to do one thing or the other when it comes to transportation.
Chaz says that 80% of people in Japan live in cities.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean that needs to be speeches right there.
Or commercial areas, I guess. That's what Chaz is saying.
Do we know anything about the birth rate? How many kids they have per year? I mean, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as Japan's concerned. I mean, because if you look at America, we have been popping out children like crazy over the past few years.
I don't
I
necessarily
fully
know about the birth rate of Japan, but I do know
Well,
about
I know one thing about it. It's very, very low. Dangerously low. Japan is getting overrun by old people.
Yeah,
and no one to
that's
take
what
care
I
of
was
them.
gonna say. That older people are coming in, and they're, basically Japan is going to over homogenize because there's almost no white, black, any other, race in Japan besides the Japanese
It's mostly
people.
Japanese, yeah.
And they have this certain culture to them where they will not date anyone who's not Japanese. I mean, of course, there's a few outliers, but when it comes to their overall culture, that is what they think. So their population is going down, but the entire population of Japan is just getting older and older, and eventually it is estimated for another 50 or 150 years, everybody in that area will be gone.
Or at least something's going to have to change.
Yeah.
They actually saw an interesting article. This is completely off topic, but they're developing an exosuit so old people can still do heavy lifting jobs.
I saw that.
Which is fascinating, but I think it's solving the wrong problem, Japan.
So now we look at America, and I'm not sure if it's a homogenous issue as far as
well, we're generally much more melty potty.
yeah. But
That's a really gross way
as
to
far
say it.
as far as our population, I mean, do you think that we are being born more than we are being killed off?
We do have okay, we can go into the general overpopulation issues of the U.S. We have to feed us, and we have to water us, and the entire world.
Clean water.
Yeah, the entire world is having a water problem.
When it comes to the feeding issue, I would like to tell a small story. I was over at the 7-Eleven, which is a corner store, and I saw a liter bottle of Coke that you can drink like any other 20 ounce of Coke, and I saw a giant bar of chocolate that was as big as a brick that you can put on in your house to build a house. and you can build it or something like that, and it said slice and share. Now this brings to mind, yes, we have resources in our country. We are probably one of the most richest countries right now, besides our definite deficit.
Mhm.
Forget all about that. We have the most money.
Okay.
The thing is that even if we do have the most money, even if we are going to take from all of the other places around us to get our food, we're just going to overuse it. And next time I'll see a candy bar that's as big as two bricks put together, and I'll see a 2 liter bottle of Coke, not just the way that it usually is,
Mhm.
to just drink normally out of a cup and last you 2 to 3 days, but I'll see it so you can drink it like any other
Yeah.
normal bottle of
We
Coke.
have an issue with just overindulgence and overuse.
Yeah.
But that's societal thing. That comes back from the World War II era, where we're supposed to be like produce, 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 indulge, 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 and then that'll help shore up the economy. It doesn't do that anymore. Like I was saying with the parking system or the desire for cars, a way to solve, I'm going to repeat this like 40 times tonight.
That's fine.
A way to solve pretty much any societal ill is change the method, or not really method, the way that we think about certain problems. If we start thinking about things like overindulgence, of getting things that we actually need instead of things we want or things we think we deserve, and go straight for things that we actually need, we'd be much better off. So there won't be the 2 liter of Coke and brick chocolate. There'll be, how about a small piece of chocolate, because I do enjoy some of the chocolates, and bread and eggs for my family.
We're not very good at necessitation.
Necessitation, and what's the other thing? Sustainability, and
how about just being pragmatic?
yes,
Sometimes
pragmatic.
Sometimes we don't make a lot of sense.
No, it's to make decisions that are sustainable. So it's like, don't empty your pool every 4 hours,
Yeah.
like wasting stuff. But also our own ability to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
So like gardening.
And of course, when we think about these issues, we also come to the realization that there are other people in the world that are reproducing at a faster rate than any other first world country. And they're not able to sustain their population because they are not using protection because they cannot afford it. And maybe they have a higher death rate, but why is there a higher death rate? Because of sexual transmitted disease.
So you're saying everything's the Catholic Church's fault?
Yes.
You know, if you look at this from I'm sorry, what are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Human beings are a very interesting animal in the method of how we feed ourselves. If you look at wolves, wild dogs, tigers, and beetles and stuff like that, they usually go out and just hunt for their prey. You know, you look at something like a zebra or a deer or a horse, they're usually out in the wilderness. They're either browsing off of grass, you know, just a large patch and just eat at will, or they're grazing. And then you have the browsers who go through the trees and shrubs and eat all this other stuff. And then you have the other animals that just eat dead things, which are everywhere. You look at human beings, how many of us can honestly say that we are either gardeners or we're hunters? Very few human beings, at least in America, will raise their hand and say that. Why? Because we depend on other people to feed us. So it makes you wonder if everything just went to heck, like civilization just crashed for whatever bizarre reason. How many of us would really be able to sustain ourselves by hunting other animals and gathering food, or even
Almost
gardening?
not one.
Yeah,
We would just turn into crazy people and kill each other over a loaf of bread
pretty much.
because we don't know how to make it ourselves.
I would also like to add this. I am a very huge history buff.
Yeah.
And when I was looking through history and historical facts through the evolution of the human species, I came to not biological evolution, but
Mm.
historical evolution of the human species. I was looking through the most important facts that actually have changed our path in history. The single most important fact that changed our path in human history was agriculture.
It's
I
true.
agree.
But you see, it's a mixed blessing. It allows the population to sit in one place and actually ruminate on problems and come up with new solutions, and our brains developed and all that kind of nonsense. But it also allows a certain portion of the population to be dependent on the other portion of the population.
It's a double-edged sword. Big time.
And if you expound on that to our society right now, every one of us depends on tens of thousands of other people for every tiny thing in their life.
Yeah.
Like this phone, this took so many people to get to my hand. Like an absurd amount of people.
A computer, camera over there.
An Apple, like just an Apple takes an absurd amount of people.
And think about your technology too. Technology, of course, we're making chips that are much smaller, which is a good thing. But the thing is that these chips include certain precious metals that are within the world and water. And exactly why do we have wars? We have wars not only because of oil, not only because of other people saying, "Hey, you do this," but because of diamonds. Where do you think you get the diamonds from? Blood diamonds. Where do you think you get the oil from? From war. Where do you think you get all of this expensive material that you don't even need? You get it from war. How does that correlate to population?
If we didn't need all this stuff, then we wouldn't have to go fighting for it.
I would even go as far as to say, even though I'm a gamer and I love video games, I would go as far as to say stuff like video games and all
Think
this.
about what video games are. It's just like, now you don't even have to live your own life.
Yeah.
You can live somebody else's.
Video games, the TV, all this crazy entertainment stuff, which entertainment is important to the human mind. We don't want to be bored to death. But does it seem like that sometimes, like, because we need so many resources to create all these boom boxes, video game consoles, these LCD TVs, all this stuff, CDs. I can go on for the phones.
And eventually we won't have that material for the human species. We will have it to make your brand new iPhone that looks exactly the same as the old one. But we won't have it for other medical devices and stuff like that we really actually need. Or maybe if we wanted to actually let our population expand and let our population boom, we would need to go out into space and investigate how we can infect the whole entire universe.
Actually, let's
go harvest the moon.
Actually,
there's probably some stuff in there we could use.
Actually, that's a good portion. Why don't we discuss let's discuss hypotheses or theories and problem solving that people have come up with. One of them was going to other planets, searching for other planets and celestial bodies.
We don't need to do that.
I agree.
That is I was joking. That is pushing the problem into the future when we can actually fix it right now.
I agree. I don't.
We just have to extend some bloody effort.
Everybody's like colonize. I forgot. Glee said there's a planet way out there. Like, why?
Colonize the moon.
You know how many resources?
Mars.
You know how many resources we would still need to even be able to travel that far, and then to go back and forth and to build more stuff. Do we even know what's over there? To even sustain ourselves at another planet?
Even if we do find a sustainable amount of energy that will allow us to go over to other planets and harvest the moon and the other planets in the world that are actually solid, guess who's going to go over there? It's going to be more war in space.
Mm-hmm.
And guess
Don't
what?
say that with such excitement. Space war is bad.
Watching is one of the few things that we need to know about entertainment is that they're kind of telling us something. Start watching those space shows and stuff. They're kind of pointing towards
Actually, Firefly brought up a really good instance of what a lot of battles will be about. One of the second or third episode, I forget. I don't remember the show that well. A huge pirating deal was here's a large container of food. Contraband food was one of the most valuable commodities you can possibly have, and all they were nutrient blocks.
And we'll possibly get to that whole entire scenario. Like, I don't know if any of you have seen the classic movie Soylent Green.
I still haven't. I really want to watch
Sounds
it.
familiar.
Don't tell him. Don't say it.
Okay.
No spoilers.
No, you can look it up for
It
yourself.
is actually really about this topic. I think I'll actually watch that when I get home tonight.
Okay. All right.
Anyway,
Another proposal I heard is that, well, there's still plenty of uninhabitable space on our planet. Why don't we just go tear through all the forests and the deserts and just populate those areas?
in the last 200 years, we've destroyed about 40% of the world's forest.
And guess what that was for? That was for
Stuff.
imperialism.
It was for stuff.
So what are the ramifications of going into these bears and deer's homes, just wrecking it, and turning the Sahara Desert into a gigantic oasis, and it just harvesting the oceans for like almost all this fish? Like, what are the ramifications of that?
We are not currently at the technological power level in which we can fix the problems that we're creating. Right now, we don't own the Earth. We depend on it. If we wanted to get to the point where we can basically, what is that game called? Actually, I can use Minecraft as an example.
Okay.
We're not in the Minecraft era where we can just go, I'm gonna put this land over here now. We can't make the Sahara Desert into an oasis. So if we screw up a forest, we screw it up basically forever.
And of course, we're also talking about the ecological aspects of the whole entire thing. I mean, of course, you know, because you're a biology major.
Mm-hmm.
I've just taken one course in ecology, and I already know that would be a very terrible idea.
There's so much wrong with just running into all the forests and just like, we're gonna clear all these. Who needs Yellowstone? Let's just destroy it and just populate it. Like, there are severe ramifications for that. First off, you're destroying most of the trees, which help give us oxygen, even though a lot of oxygen does come from cyanobacteria in the ocean, but still, that's oxygen we could be using. Secondly, even destroying trees and plants and stuff may degrade the soil, which means it might wind up not being nutrition rich enough to support us when we create our farms to feed these thousands and possibly millions of other people we're now putting in this destroyed forest. Not to mention the global warming, depending on how we do that. And for aesthetic reasons. I mean, come on now. Most of us love animals and plants. Why the heck we want to kill the poor innocent bear? To some people, aesthetics are not that important, but I mean, we are human beings, and aesthetics do play a major part in our lives.
We can just replace it with a big virtual reality world, and we'd be happy.
Yeah.
No, this is bad. You're not allowed to be dictator of the world.
I'm just kidding.
But
and wiping out key species.
no, you see, things like sustainable agriculture exist. And it's actually a very mature and developing form of science. Is creating agriculture that has almost no impact on the rest of the world. It's just developing food for us to eat while not killing anything.
Isn't that called hydraulics? Or is that?
That's hydroponics. No.
Well, hydroponics is a different way of growing food.
Yeah.
You kind of grow food over water instead of in soil.
I saw this documentary about how people.
They can hear you.
I saw this documentary about how people put plants and food and stuff on top of skyscrapers. So maybe if we're having all of this urbanization of the world and we can't get past it, and our population is going to boom even further than it already has, maybe we need to do this.
Yeah, if we can actually redesign future buildings so sustainability is actually included, then yeah, you could go down a hallway and grab a carrot from the wall. That would be fantastic.
That would be amazing.
Of course, this would be extremely hard, and we would need to change almost everything
It
that
would
we
be
do.
very
But
difficult.
That's the problem. We have to change the zeitgeist of the human mind. We have to be able to focus on different parameters of our existence instead of thinking about ourselves. We have to think about everybody.
yes,
One thing a lot of people don't think of is when they come up with these theories and stuff, like, colonizing outer space and blowing up a population there, or, destroying Yellowstone and building there, is that when you have more people, I mean, think about all the problems that we have now with 7 billion people. Imagine if we had 8 billion, 9 billion, 10 billion, 11 billion. All these problems that we have, and problems that have surfaced that said, "Hey, I'm here," and then disappeared, like certain diseases like SARS, the avian flu that just kind of popped up and went away for a bit. Who's to say that when we hit about 10 billion people, that
Which we will.
if we keep doing what we're doing, that some horrific disease shows up, and we, for some reason, cannot find a cure for it, and it spreads like wildfire.
And that's not even like an imagination.
And it's
That
not.
can totally happen.
It has happened.
that would.
About
No.
what was it? 1/3 of Europe
This
was
is-
wiped out by the bubonic plague.
For the people of the internet and for you guys, I highly recommend this show called Survivors. I actually, when I clicked on it, I thought it was Survivor, like that old game show. I was like, whatever, I'll watch Survivor.
Not that.
No, this is a mildly older, like a year or so ago, and it's like 2 or 3 seasons, and it's actually about this subject. It's a disease just popped up, and then it killed like 70% of the world.
Wow, I thought the entire strain was bad.
No, and it destroyed all of them in like a week.
Well,
And there's nothing anyone could do.
from what I've
Because,
heard,
I'm sorry. It's like we are so interconnected, our world now, and it's only going to get more connected, that if a bad disease comes out, we all are going to die.
It's not hard at all. I mean, some of the worst diseases ever have been easily transmissible. I mean, look at classic example, bubonic plague.
Fund the sciences.
That is
They'll save your life.
that is the most that disease right there basically says, hey, you guys mess up once and you're done. I believe that it was somewhere in the Orient, back when Europe was traveling back and forth, with their spices and all this other trade and stuff to China and India and all this stuff. And there is a cute little bacteria named Yersinia pestis, which hitched a ride on the Oriental rat.
What was the disease that did that?
What
was the disease?
Bubonic plague, Black Plague.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so it also hit the Orient.
Yeah. It started around there. Yersinia pestis was this highly volatile bacteria which can create 3 forms of Black Plague, Black Death. And so, of course, it infects the fleas, and the fleas, they proliferate. They have babies like no other, and they go on the rats. And we all know that rats, they proliferate. They have babies everywhere, and rats love to stow away. In fact, the Norway rat loves to closely associate with people. There's plenty of animals, including head lice and body lice, that love associating with human beings. We provide an excellent home and food for them. So in any case, and this is just a short history lesson for some of you guys, they stow away on these, I forgot what kind of vehicles they used, but they got to Europe rather quickly. And considering the fact,
this is on boats.
Yeah, I believe
now we have
came across countries.
No, now we have motorized super tankers and airplanes.
Yep. So now,
and all it takes is one person to go, I'm a little under the weather, but I really got to get to that meeting in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 continents are infected.
So it hops over there. Rats went loose. And remember, back then people weren't that scientifically keen yet. They still believed that God was punishing people, devils were doing this stuff. So
and it changed so much.
Yeah, we changed so much, and still diseases kick our butts. And this bacteria just proliferated and wiped out. What was it, 1/3 of Europe?
Yeah.
Of an entire continent, 1/3.
And over not that long amount of time. I think it was like 75 years. I think it was still the same generation, right?
I think so.
I don't actually remember how long it took. It might have been longer.
Malaria is still killing millions upon millions of human beings. Who's to say that this plasmodium parasite finds a way, because evolution is just so wonderful, to defeat the medications that we use to hinder its process and just goes out of control.
Actually, something that's happening now is, I think it's syphilis. Syphilis.
Yes.
Syphilis is only being broken by only one of the medications we have. The rest of them don't work anymore.
And that's exactly what we actually have to be worried about how we.
But we do. Chaz brought up a good point. Sorry, it's the population of Europe is much smaller at the time, so a third was a small amount of people, but it's still huge ramifications on that population at the time.
Still a huge ratio, but thanks.
Well, what I was gonna say was that we also have to worry about how we treat diseases because, as you said, they evolve. They find a way to evolve. Evolution is always happening continuously, and many creationists out there will say like, "Oh, it's not happening." Well, we can actually see it in the lab when we're talking about small bacteria and small viruses and very small mitochondria or whatever it's called.
Let him count. Keep talking.
Yes. So anyway, that's what
Yeah,
we're doing.
And that's just one.
No, see, yeah, we need to, as well as changing our general outlook on things as socially, we need to increase education. Because we need people to know about the population problems. We need people to know about the choices they're making, how they're influencing everyone else. So then the next CEO of the big lumber companies will be like, you know what, maybe we should grow our own lumber farms instead of destroying natural habitats of animals that need to stay alive or will all die.
Mhm. And then what you were saying earlier, war.
I
Mankind,
still don't understand why we're in wars.
mankind has been fighting wars since
We existed.
before he even picked up a stick. You know,
Oh,
like when he was a
stole my
when he was a
way.
four-legged creature, he was running around, probably gnawing at other quote unquote people at that time that he just didn't want around. So now, I mean, now that we have these big brains, thinking we have all these different ideologies. There's different ideologies about overpopulation. You know, people who feel as if that city shouldn't exist. Religion, anything you can think of, people differ. And some people, unfortunately, who get into power, have a lot of people who
They want to maintain these divisions.
yeah, they want to maintain these divisions. And you have people who just don't think for themselves in the masses that follow these people. And when you have this powerful person with this mindset, this powerful person with this mindset, and a bunch of followers on each side, you're just going to have war. Whether it's everything from whether it's the neighbors or whether it's this country versus this country. And so when you have 10 billion people, you're going to have larger scale wars. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. And who's to say that these wars, because we keep building stronger and stronger and stronger weapons. I mean, back then we used to poke each other with sticks. Now we have ICBMs with multiple warheads.
Since we've been alive,
We've
weapons
And
have evolved
military-
dramatically.
Yes.
And unmanned military drones,
Yeah.
which
Now,
nobody
nowadays,
brings up.
nowadays it's a video game. You can play Call of Duty and kill somebody. All you gotta do is have a controller and be like, oh, look, there's somebody I don't like. Zip, they're dead. You don't even have to see the person anymore. Just
Dude, what's really bad is that's a completely different topic, but yeah. Our technology, this is something that has come up a number of times whenever we discuss any ethical problem. Our technology has gone beyond our morality. We have technology that is far stronger than our ability to care about others. And this dips into a little bit of ethical humanism. We need to care about individuals. We need to care about populations. We need to understand that we are a people and we are a planet. If we do not care about ourselves and if we do not see the ramifications of our decisions, we won't exist forever. And that's a problem, because we want to stay alive. That is kind of our prerogative.
as long as we can.
But we are far too close-minded, and we are far too concerned with our own needs and our own wishes. So we don't understand that we need to share our bit of bread.
It's like altruism is not exactly popular anymore.
But here, other places it is. Other countries have got the right idea.
Yeah, except
They're just like, we're going to stay out of these pointless wars. We are going to try to be accommodating to our populations.
Well, the reason, why do you think this is happening in the first place? This whole thing with us not caring about anyone else, not caring about
It's
overpopulation.
because of the
We're-
U.S. mentality.
Yes, exactly.
consumerism.
And we're
Yes.
going to worry about which video game system we're going to get next. And I play Xbox. I love Xbox. But the thing is that we're too concerned with the little crap that we put on TV, like
Michael
Jersey
Vick is not in
Shore
the Eagles anymore.
stuff like that.
What we should be doing is like let's all join a shared farm. These exist in Philadelphia. If you pay, I think it's like $400 a month, then that's like a traditional grocery bill, is to pay like $400 a month. People from a farm nearby, an organic farm, will deliver you fresh vegetables every week.
That sounds great.
That's fantastic. And these exist in Philadelphia, and no one uses them.
Phil Abundance does that, don't they?
I don't know. If nothing else, they'll probably have links to places that'll do that.
Yeah. I've heard of these programs before, actually. Yeah.
It's like I'll look them up again and post them on our website, because these are good solutions. These will be putting money into sustainable agriculture, and it'll be giving people actual food instead of the crap that we're eating, because we have to eat crap because it's the only way that people know how to feed us.
So it's like in the context of America, just America. Not only is our lack of altruism, but I mean, all these things actually do play a part in overpopulation, because I mean, you know, our lack of altruism. I mean, we're taking care of ourselves, and unfortunately, there are very effective ways of taking care of ourselves. We're just like, I don't need anybody else. Who cares about them? You're on your own. You know, I mean, because we have everybody else taking care of us, but for the wrong reasons. You know, hey, I'm making money off of it. I don't care if you're happy or not. How much you pay me? Who cares? You know, you have that going on. You know, this altruism, and then you just have this whole thing of a lack of focus. Like, for example, Philadelphia, which education is one of the things we definitely need. We desperately need education. Philadelphia is closing out, I think they're still closing out 40 or 60 schools. Meanwhile, what makes front page the most? Michael Vick no longer playing for the Eagles. Oh, everybody's up in arms because this one human being who's doing better than everybody else. This guy has money where money shouldn't be.
You see, that's the problem. Is
we're more worried about him.
Like, our focus is supposed to be on people that are successful, because we want to be successful.
Exactly.
Instead of going like, you know what's great? Like, Farmer Bill was able to get a twice yield harvest.
That should be on the news.
Exactly.
I would love to hear about that.
Because the thing is that
or like green technology is rising.
I see shows that are called Big Rich Texas. And what it does, it popularizes these people that are really rich. And guess what? These people watch these shows, some of them for entertainment, just to laugh at them, which is fine, but some of the other ones, they watch these shows and they're like, oh, only if I can live that lifestyle. And it shows a lifestyle so lavish that these people are having parties about getting injected, Botox injected into their faces, and having parties.
There's such a thing as Botox parties.
Yes.
It doesn't surprise me. So it's like
and
we have
they're getting parties for their dogs, their puppies, turning 1 year old.
Yeah.
Do you know what they could do with that money?
Yeah.
Anything else.
Exactly.
So it's like what's going on here is that when we look at success, like back then we used to admire our teachers, our police officers,
success.
You know,
yeah,
people,
go along with this.
People who actually help our society prosper. You know, teachers, soldiers, firemen,
police officers,
doctors, scientists.
These used to be our heroes.
We love these people. Now, Honey Boo Boo, Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton.
No, because we've been trained that success means having money.
But
instead of success being providing a service to people.
But here's the problem with the way we look at success. Like the farmer whose crop just had twice the yield, that's success to him. But
that's success to anybody. That
yeah,
should be.
It should be, but we don't think of it that way. It's not very popular.
Yeah, we see
pouring oat fruit. Who cares?
No, we see that as he's doing his job because he's supposed to do that.
Yeah. The success of a middle class man working in a business. Let's say he's working in accounting or something. There's nothing wrong with that. But this guy, his idea of success is getting that brand new Samsung Galaxy S3.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, hey, you know what I could do? Maybe I can do something for the world. Maybe I can change the world in some way. Mm-hmm. Maybe instead of using my degree for stealing money from other people in this bank company, maybe I can use it in a non-profit organization.
It's like we're just very distracted.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, maybe one of the main reasons why we haven't figured out any kind of viable solutions to things such as overpopulation via lack of education is because we're so distracted with all these other things.
No, I don't think it's that we're just. I don't think it's the things themselves are why we're distracted. Like, I honestly don't think that most people care about like Honey Boo Boo and all this other nonsense. I think it's just that.
I hope you're right.
No, I think it's just that our mindset is that is what we want. We want to be like these people because we've been trained to want to be like these people.
Also,
Back in the day, being a farmer your entire life, awesome. Bravo, you did a good job. You lived a fantastic life. That used to be how it was.
also,
Because like literally hard work is its own reward. But now we're just like, oh, we deserve stuff because we're awesome. We don't have to work for anything. And that's ridiculous.
And none, I mean, how many people besides, our circle of people in Drexel and maybe a few people that we know that are really much in free thought, how many people have actually discussed what would happen if we were overpopulated? How many people actually discussed issues about diseases outside of the scientific realm?
nobody.
Besides
Because
zombie
nobody
apocalypse.
notices. Nobody knows. Because no one thinks about it.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They're not noticing or they're scared. They don't want to see. Remember the scene on The Matrix when Neo was given a blue pill or a red pill?
Oh yeah.
It's so bad how good that analogy is for everything.
This was the point where Neo was the least afraid. Neo knew there was two worlds. He knew that there was one world that he lived in, and he knew that there was another world that he didn't know. But the one thing that he had in his mind was maybe the other world will be better. He took the pill. It wasn't better, but he understood.
Yeah, we don't have that understanding here.
Understanding.
We don't understand that there could be a better world because we don't even understand that there's two worlds.
Exactly.
Like right now we live on the precipice of very important decision making. We are literally the people that are going to be making decisions in the future. Even if it's just with our own families. Even if it's just by ourselves and things we decide to buy.
And I say that a lot of these problems can be solved or at least somehow lowered in virulence by simple science. Which unfortunately in America, even simple science eludes us. Like, I mean, a simple food chain. You can just post a food chain of like, here's a plant, here's an animal, eats a plant, here's an animal, eats that animal, and so on and so forth.
People have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Something like
Because
that.
we're too focused on getting to success.
Or some people.
Or making more families.
And the thing with success is we have such a mythological and ideological outlook on success. And to me, success is problem solving. We're able to figure things out. We're not just relying on, oh, I hope this happens. No, we make things happen.
I'm gonna sound like way too optimistic, but my idea of living a successful life and being successful is improving and increasing the collective knowledge of mankind.
I agree with
Awesome.
I agree.
But that's what I want to do.
My whole point of success in life is not to get that new Apple iPhone now.
You are extremely double-jointed.
Like that. Yes, I am. The thing is that my idea of success is not getting something new or going somewhere or anything. I mean, I am an existentialist atheist, but
Oh, jeez.
but my idea of anything is to pursue knowledge, pursue the
We need to
truth.
survive.
Yeah, most people don't see that. Most people see that what we should be trying to do is make a lot of money, or even just other like there's other degrees of success, like make a large family, which just causes a whole lot of other problems.
Overpopulation?
Yeah, that
Now, wait. Speaking of large families. At the risk of possibly sounding biased, do you think that, at least in America, it is mostly people who are in lower classes that just consistently pop out most kids?
Absolutely.
I would,
And if
have,
so,
I,
and
I
if
would have to
so-
see the statistics, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it turned out.
Now, assuming it's true, why would somebody who lives in, I would say, substandard living, like full of cockroaches and mice, and the house just falling apart, but with a very nice car, for whatever reason, have so many kids?
I think it's the lack of education. It's kind of just like lack of education mixed with boredom.
Possibly.
You don't have much to do, let's have sex.
So rampant hedonism, probably.
A little bit. And also like who's most affected by like our idea of the American dream? It's people that are impoverished. They want to be successful. They want to have money. They want to live the life that they see on TV.
No,
Which is
not,
mythological and ideological.
not to
Yes.
sound biased or anything, but besides rich people, who are of the people that are most conservative? Poor people.
It's kind of true. Isn't that a thing?
Wait,
like,
repeat that?
Who
Like-
are the people that are more conservative? Is it, I mean, besides rich people, of course,
Mm-hmm.
is it poor people or is it middle class people?
That's a good question.
You tell us, internet.
That's a good question.
Like that would be actually a very interesting way of looking through it.
I mean, because you know, when you start going into sociology, you have this group of sociologists that are like, you shouldn't blame the society, you should blame the system. The way the system is made up is making the people, the society, the way they are. While other sociologists might say, well, you know what, even though the system has certain things going wrong with it, there are ways around it, and these people are just too lazy to even consider fixing it because they don't think anything's
I'm
wrong.
straight down the middle.
I'm somewhere in the
Is
middle.
it-
I say it's a little bit of both. I say that.
I don't know. Like social economic problems have so many facets to it.
Yeah. I think it's a bit of both, though.
I think
I don't think it's
both.
exclusive to the system is just screwing everybody over so bad that everybody's just acting up. But I also don't think that, all the poor people are just lazy and stupid. No, because there's plenty of poor people who are very, very intelligent. It's just that this one problem they
Like
can't
me.
solve. Yeah, you know, I mean, I consider myself somewhat poor. I would make
Chaz
that
actually brings a slightly good point.
Okay.
It's like he says that, like I wouldn't say they're conservative, but it can be hard to change their mind because they care about their day-to-day life way before they care about anything else.
That really brings up.
And
a good
yeah, that
point.
makes it a good point. If you live paycheck to paycheck, who the hell cares about overpopulation? You need to make money to eat food.
That's true.
So, but the problem is, if you don't care about worldly problems, you're going to perpetuate the problem. You're going to get into the point where it's like your kids are going to see you do this. You could raise your kids beautifully, but if all you know is this kind of life, then the problem is probably going to perpetuate itself.
So you're staying in this little square.
Yeah, that's why
Your mind isn't growing.
It's like that's why a lot of families like they stay in the same community, they have the same family friends, and ideas don't change very easily.
I know people who have never left the tri-state area. In fact, no, I know people who have never gone any further than Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Oh God.
Like all they know is West Philadelphia or North Philadelphia. They know a little bit about Upper Darby, but go beyond there.
I know people that don't know anything about the city, and all they know is their little suburb.
Which is because some of these things don't require money, a copious amount of money to go to.
No, but the problem is you need to just get out of your head. Like you don't like. I encourage everyone in the world to travel anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're going. Just see stuff that you're not used to. But at the same time, you can go online. You can become curious about other places. You can help the world from your living room.
I mean,
But
Exactly.
But even so,
But even that, you should experience both things because it's a life-changing thing.
I completely agree.
But
My favorite trip ever was seeing part like a bit of Europe.
I love Boston.
No, but at the same time, one of my favorite vacation spots in the world is New Jersey. I love the Pine Barrens.
But like me being in the military, I've been around. I wouldn't say everywhere, but I've been to some places. I've been to South Korea. I've seen both sides of South Korea. Where we were stationed at, we were near little towns They weren't very overpopulated at all. You know, like you could pretty much get through the roads without getting stuck in traffic. You had some people, they lived in small houses, small modest houses. They owned a small little business, and there'd be farm everywhere. They had everything from rice to dog farms. You know, and then you go to Seoul, totally different. Just it was nothing more than a Korean version of New York. Nothing but crowds and crowds of people in cars just everywhere. I went to Egypt. You know, Egypt is mostly tourism. Like you have the Bedouin, the people that are just nomadic. Like they literally live on their camels. They live on their camels. They stop. They find some food, maybe an oasis. They move about their business, and they go to certain places like Sharm el Sheikh in Cairo, where you had a huge economy. You know, as far as like tourism, and then you had some people who lived in substandard housing, and you had a few guys in the business suits and the suitcases that had the nice rich places. And then I go to America. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't been everywhere in America. I've been to some country areas, but most of America I see highways, cities, just being overly crowded. I see tons and tons of people. Like I've been to these other countries, and usually the most kids I see with these people are maybe two. Like even in Egypt and South Korea, in Philadelphia alone, I will see somebody, and maybe they're not all their kids, but they're there. I'll see people with like 5 kids,
Maybe more people start to,
and usually one parent.
maybe more people are thinking about the cookie cutter lifestyle. They want to live the same lifestyle as everybody else, and they don't want to see anywhere past their little house and kids and stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just that I would say the best thing to do is to find a new experience before you settle down, before you plan on settling down for the rest of your life.
And consider these topics like overpopulation.
Yeah.
Consider overpopulation, consider sustainable agriculture, consider everything.
I mean, everything we do as species, in anything that deals with biology, has a cost and a benefit. I mean, especially with overfishing. You know, a lot of overpopulation, because a lot of our societies are based near water, rivers, streams, oceans.
They're a transportation hub and they provide resources.
Yeah. So if we're just mindlessly just dumping el garbage in the friggin' ocean, killing all the fish and the shrimp and the plankton and all this other stuff, and increasing greenhouse gases and everything, and we just don't care, it's gonna
actually out of time.
It's gonna bite us in the rear end really soon.
We are just about out of time, so everyone just closing remarks.
The best thing I can say is, like you were preaching the whole time, education. We should be. I mean, every little thing that you look up and you learn about based on science will help us solve these bigger issues, including disease control, starvation, clean water, and overpopulation. So educate yourselves.
I would say try not to live like everybody else. Try to think and try to live life to the fullest.
Well said. Well, overpopulation is a complicated problem, both from where it comes from and how we're going to solve it, and even the implications of it. But to solve any of these problems, we need to actually understand the sources, and we need to do a lot of planning, and we have to work together. So, global problem needs a global solution, but it all starts with you. We are the Drexel Freethought Society. Ooh. This is the end of the show. If you guys have any comments, or thank you, Chaz. If you guys have any comments, you can email us at drexfreethought@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. You can go directly to our website and see any events that are coming up, or have any suggestions for any other topics. Email us. Everyone's welcome. See you guys next week. Join the social stream. Have a nice day. Wait, is Thanksgiving next week?
I think so.
Is it Thursday? I thought it was Sunday for some reason.
It might be. I forgot when our last one was.
Stick with the website.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, updates will happen eventually. All right, we're done.
I'm glad we discussed that.
Yes.
There's very few people I can talk to about this
Goodbye.
because they have